Hey everybody, Vader Saber 1984, also known as that drunk guy and his bullshit opinion. Gonna do another Mount Rushmore of wrestling. This time I am going to go ahead and do my E.C.W, the extreme elite of the greatest four wrestlers from E.C.W back in the day. The ones that I love, cherish, and you know what? We're not going to put this as they were the greatest wrestlers per se, like in the ring wrestlers, but just my favorite personalities that just sold the show of the one and only hardcore promotion known as E.C.W. So grab yourself a smoke, grab yourself a drink, or two. Grab onto your butts, your balls, your boobs, whatever the hell you got. Because here we go. All right, now, this one is just as far as a E.C.W alumni Mount Rushmore, because there's so many that I want to put on there. Some of the names that I wish I could put on here, like Just Incredible, Taz, Bubba Ray Dudley, New Jack. Good Lord, I could go on and on and on. So many that Tommy Dreamer, that I wish I could put on this Mount Rushmore, but there's only 4 slots to fill when it comes to this extreme icon of Mount Rushmore. So we're going to go ahead and start with the original man that put him on the mat, the one and only Texas icon, Terry Funk. Terry Funk, Amarillo, Texas, God rest your soul. Oh, I miss you. I only live an hour away from you, and I wish I could have seen you so many times over my 40 years of living, and I never did. That's on me. That's one of the regrets I have to live. Now, watching Terry Funk in my youth was one of those, like, what is this old guy doing in here? Like, why? And I watched him take more beatings and deliver more of a story and batter to anybody he was in the ring with than you could ever hope to see. Sometimes even want to see. But Terry Funk just had that. I'm going to steal a line from Wrestling with Shadows. Or, no, it wasn't Wrestling with Shadows. It was Beyond the Mat. Excuse me. Beyond the Mat, he goes, a lot of wrestlers act crazy, but Terry Funk made you believe it. And I hold that very true. Terry Funk made you sit there and go, oh my God, that guy is nuts. And he's old as shit. I mean, he wrestled from the late 60s throughout the 70s, throughout the 80s, all the way up through the 90s and 2000s, and had his last match with Cactus Jack McFoley in a E.C.W arena. I think it was, oh Lord, what was it? It was One Night Stand 2 that he was in. I don't know if he did anything after that, but you know, some of his Japan matches are, you know, legendary. They are wrestling hardcore lore of how great Terry Funk was. But for a guy who never had the best body, but could get on the stick and get in the ring and do things like, how can he do that? And he could wrestle. It wasn't just all the time brawling, which he did, but he would have some of the craziest spots that you're like, that old man should not be able to do that. Terry Funk, God rest your soul, brother. You are the first man on my Mount Rushmore of ECW. Moving on to number 2. Man, when it comes to ECW, other than Terry Funk, you can't have any other name than the homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu. You know, I watched a lot of stuff with Terry Funk and Sabu, and that just made me change my mind of, I don't want to do that. I really don't. But it gave me a perspective on the business of, hey, if they can withstand that, I can too. Sabu never talked, and I love that. He didn't have to. He did all of his talking in the ring. It's kind of like me. I don't dance. I do all my dancing in the bedroom. You know, I leave it count where I'm not going to go dancing because I'm not good at it. I'm going to do where I'm good at dancing, you know, per se. So, Sabu, you know, I wasn't big on the whole Arabian kind of gimmick. You know, I know he's the son of the Sheik. I never quite got that because, yeah, he is, you know, legitimately a nephew of the original Sheik, and he was from the Middle East and all that. And, you know, I just never got the gimmick. But when they brought him on a freaking gurney with the Hannibal Lecter mask and chained up and let him go in the ring and he just tore everything up, fucking phenomenal. Man, that made me pop so hard as a kid. It was so cool. And I gotta give credit again, like I did in my last video, to my tag team partner, the motherfucking Punisher, the MFP, the hardcore icon himself, for introducing me to Sabu in more ways than just watching highlights on an E.C.W. VHS. Because, quite frankly, yeah, Sabu was the shit. Cheers to you, brother. Terry, I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you on X, formerly known as Twitter. I haven't heard back from you in a while, but hope you're doing well, brother. All right, number 3. Number 3 is really, really hard for me, man, because it's just, do I keep it only as wrestling? Do I wrestlers? Do I have it as valets? Do I have it as, you know, because, oh God, it's so hard to go with ECW and not mention this name. And here we go. Now, most people would put Tommy Dreamer or Bubba Ray Dudley or Taz or whatever in this one, or even the Sandman, the beer swinging, cane swinging, just badass guy. But quite frankly, I got to go a little bit deeper than that. I got to go with Masato Tanaka. No, he was not only a ECW guy, but he was one of the most hardcore motherfuckers you ever see. You could hit him with a brick house in The Wizard of Oz, and the motherfucker would get up and keep coming and put on a damn good show. I don't follow Masato Tanaka anymore or at all. I don't know if he's, you know, on X or Instagram or anything, but you know what? Anytime there was Masato Tanaka match, I was like, I have to watch this because he was so good. His matches with Mike Awesome, phenomenal, except for they were all the exact same. That's the only problem I had with Mike Awesome. That's why he's not on the list. But looking at Masato Tanaka and the guy who's just covered in scars, much like Sabu, but go in there, take a beating like that guy's gotta be concussed. He's still getting up. And he's still performing. He's still doing, I mean, he took more beatings than Jeff Hardy did in his one Undertaker match, in that ladder match. back in 2000. Well, yeah, 2000, 2001. He took more beatings on a day-to-day basis than Jeff Hardy took. And he got up and he performed and he was just amazing. Masato Tanaka made me go, damn, that's a strong dude. That man has my respect. And as I give a lot of the indie wrestlers that I watch in local promotions, when I do get to talk to them, I'm like, hey man, that bump you took, you got my respect. Or that set that you did, perfect. I'll give shout out where shout outs due. So Masato Tanaka's got my number 3. Moving on to number 4. Gotta give the best for last, in my opinion. Not only performance, not only on the mic, not only charisma, not only titles held, but a great wrestler, great performer, and still wrestling to this day. The one and only Rob Van Dam. That's right. Yeah, Rob has been one of my idols for many years. Not great on the stick, because he doesn't have to be. But guess what? He gets in the ring, and he is so innovative of everything he does. I mean, the 5-star frog splash would just, like, he got higher than high, even though he's had more concussions than God itself. I mean, he did a whole video, a whole movie of it, of his concussions. He's had well over hundreds that he remembers. But the guy was so good physically. Yeah, did the Robbie V, looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is kind of crappy because you look like that cokehead, but whatever. But the guy is straight up 420, straight up martial arts and about zen and respect. And in the ring, he is just so good in E.C.W. Whether it's in the ring, out of the ring, being hardcore, being innovative, and Sabu's tag team partner and probably best opponent in the ring as well. Rob Van Dam gets my last spot and my number 1 spot for E.C.W. So that right there is my E.C.W. favorites. And again, these are just my opinions. If you feel I'm wrong, leave me a comment. Tell me your Mount Rushmore of E.C.W. wrestlers. And maybe we can come up with something else. But again, Vader Saber 1984, also known as that drunk guy and his bullshit opinion. Thanks for watching.